Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Arena Black Ops 7 launch tournament here at the Cast-Off. You're joined by the Celtic Duo themselves. It's Mark of G, followed by Zep Cass. It's going to be a phenomenal matchup we have here on our cards as well, because this is quarter-final in the winner's bracket. It is Pinnacle Gaming versus Shinto Gaming Club. This is going to be a battle of battles. Both teams have done phenomenal in the group stages, not losing whatsoever. They have obviously not lost a matchup yet either. And Shinto are already warmed up after playing a game today already, which was a 3-1 against Outbreak. So they're warmed up, they're prepped, they're ready to go. Zep, are you warmed up, ready to go and get cast in as well for what's going to be an exceptional matchup?
Oh, I just absolutely can't wait to get into it. The Game Arena, you know, it never fails to amaze me what happens in the Game Arena. The teams that we get to see and the early plays we get to see going into the rest of the year, seeing what these teams bring to the table. They get to educate us as well on what plays to be making. You know, these guys have been playing non-stop from the very beginning. They get straight in there, they get aggressive, and they show us how to play. And then I take all of what I see straight into ranked play and very poorly replicate it whenever that comes out. So it's a great learning experience to be able to see this so early on. So many terrific teams that are taking part here over these next few days, and it's just an absolute treat and a privilege to see. Really can't wait to get into this series as we take a look at the players in front of us.
Yeah, you see the rosters of Conwa, Server, Choco and Nejra here for Pinnacle Gaming, a squad to be reckoned with. They are going to be looking to see what they can do up against Shinto Gaming. Obviously not as warm as Shinto will be, but that is the roster of Matt, Mitch, Bala and Lucho. These two potentially could see our first game 5 here in the day, because we had a game 4 3-1 for Takuria against Coastal Gaming. We had Omni of Valor 3-0 Extinct, but Pinnacle and Shinto, I'm not seeing this as a 3-0 whatsoever. We're at least seeing 4 and no matter what, and Shinto have already dropped a couple of maps so far as well, so there is chances of losing before we get into what will be our map sets. Hardpoint on Cortex. Then we're going to see a triple header of Den on the Search and Destroy Overload, which is the game mode that is going to be the first time we're casting for both of us. Zep, it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out, and then we're going to go back to Hardpoint on Den if we get to game 4, and if we finish this out, we eventually go to my favourite map of all time, the beautiful map of Raid.
Yeah, you know, it's a treat, it's a feast for the eyes, and given how these two teams are shaped up against each other, there is a great chance that we do make it all the way and get to see that map number 5. But beginning at map number 1 over on Cortex, and you know, this is something we were discussing before even going live here this evening, that Cortex is one of those maps that feels very direct across all of its lanes, right? There's not many angles of flanks, it's not very wide. Whether you choose lane A, B or C, you're going to be very direct, you're going to be getting in there. There's nearly always going to be those lanes watch, so you got to get ready for it to get intense straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Very intense, very crazy and very interesting, but we did get into the actions quickly off there, and we have a little bit of a crash, so we'll sort things out. We'll get back to the action, but Cortex, like you said, so I feel like it's a very close quarters matchup as well, right? There is loads of ways in which you can hide, especially in that P1 side. You've got all them, well, what would you class them as? Dome cylinders? I mean, the little cylinders with humans, the remains or whatever it is that's in there trying to get restored. That is a very interesting area to play in and about, especially with the wall jumping and such involved as well. So you can kind of jump off of these in between the lane and try to get your way in towards P1, where always P1 is an absolute bloodfest, especially off the rip in our first set of rotations.
Yeah, as I said, you know, it's a very intense map, I think, across a lot of the lanes. You know, there's very much no room to hide. And I suppose it is in that room where, at least around those, I'm going to call them at least cryo chambers. Again, could be completely wrong on what we're calling them. We'll call them cryo chambers for now anyway. And the way you can move between them to sort of, again, create that angle or disappear if you've been made weak, you know, to be able to rotate out. It's one of the few areas in the map that gives you that opportunity to just be able to kind of reset and play around with the gunfights. But I mean, you go through mid map, it is very direct. You're relying on those head glitches. Unless you can move very quickly into the center to get cover behind that truck, you are very much there for the picking. And the same over on the left hand side compared to where we started at the beginning of that map. You know, very direct, very straight down. So this map relies a lot on its ARs to do that overlook and that covering, that sort of suppressive fire to allow the subs to get in and sort of start doing their real damage. As we finally get back in here straight away, Shinto on 60 early on, starting off strong, clearly in finer form given the game that they've played. Pinnacle though, they'll warm up quick.
Yeah, definitely. 40-point lead here for Shinto on P2 with their final remaining seconds as we head over to where Pinnacle are already set up here for P3, but Mitch looking to instantly break on in. Does try to get his way in there, but Server will make sure he is shut down early, and that's going to be some good early time here for Pinnacle Gaming, trying to force out Shinto for the remainder of this time to try and get this back to a tie game.
Yeah, Pinnacle having the opportunity here to sit in what you would probably call the money hill, and you're seeing the mid-map as well being watched, preventing any sort of flank happening, forcing Shinto to have to go that one particular route straight on forward, and it is not working for them whatsoever. Pinnacle are shutting up shop and shutting them down. Shinto nowhere near. Still time to maybe push, but they might already begin to rest and maybe play for that mid. They've started to push up through mid now that they've created that angle, got that lane free, but they're not really getting anywhere near this point. Pinnacle have done a great job of just siphoning Shinto off that all-important time.
Yeah, exactly. Push comes to shove. All of a sudden, they are pushed off of the point, and Pinnacle bring every single second that matters to get this game almost to tie. Server went on a 6 spree there as well, absolutely frying Conwa, trying to add more and more to his kill. They're all a little bit negative, but it doesn't matter because the scoreline is pretty close here, and we've head over towards P4. There is only P4 positions this time round in the hardpoint on Cortex, so it is quick, it's fast paced, and it is very much who can get there first and set themselves up. And with Pinnacle already set up and ready, can they win the gunfight? The answer to that is no. He comes flying back in, but Nedra's there at least to trade him back out. They stay in control for a matter of seconds and almost take the lead from Shinto, but they manage to get the break just at the right time.
Yeah, the middle of the map just offers a little bit more aggression. You can get up and in there quick off the back of your spawn if the first push doesn't work, and that worked beautifully for Shinto. They just kept peppering away and eventually got in. But you have to praise Pinnacle again. They haven't let Shinto get too much time off this. They've been staggering that time, constantly getting in, getting 1 or 2 back for every 3 or 4 that Shinto get off the time. So while Shinto once again getting a little bit of a lead from this point, it is nowhere near enough to feel comfortable. Pinnacle have managed to shut them down.
Yeah, there's Conwa taken out. Matt, I would love to see if he does actually rock a bowl cut as well. That'd be an interesting thing to see. Bala picks up a 2. Server then finds Lucio. Conwa finds another, and all of a sudden Pinnacle have got the kills that they need, but it's not inside the hard point, so Shinto hold on to P1 once again early off. A good way to kind of lead into what they were already after the first set of rotations. The first hard point was obviously going well for them last time out. It looks like it's going to do the exact same this time.
Yeah, the rotations are proving to be so important already in this map, and Shinto are making the most of them. When they get in, they set up and they lock it down. Meanwhile, when Pinnacle got P3, they were able to make so much time up from that map, so from that position. So even though it is quite a small map, all things considered, those rotations are still key to be able to set yourself up to try and hold a clean 60. As Pinnacle in here trying to pull a little bit of time back, not let get Shinto too far away. We rotate over towards P2, where Pinnacle do have the spawns and the setup. We're about to see a little bit of a taste of Shinto's potential breaking power moving over to this side.
Yeah, you've got 2 players there. Nezra inside the new hardpoint, Server outside the outskirts. They're just trying to stop one player of Mitch going in, but he's got the kill that he needs, and they're going to have to rotate around the back to try and shut him down. But he has found another onto Conwa. All of a sudden Bala finds one as well, and that is 3 dead for Pinnacle. And guess what? The hardpoint belongs to Shinto Gaming as they take a 30-point lead, potentially making another good strong hardpoint from P1 P2 once again for Shinto.
Yeah, but you look at the way Pinnacle are coming in here. They are surrounding the point. They've pushed in at the perfect times and made it work. Clean retake off Shinto after Shinto managed to break in. Of course, Shinto will have the spawn, so they'll be able to get pushed at this quick, but Pinnacle hit that exactly how they needed to get a clean break.
Yeah, 19 seconds still remain though. How long can they hold them off and Shinto and stay on this time? Thinking of P3, where it was really big for Pinnacle to get there early. They're going to have 2 players split off, and they're heading back to set up for P3, which is crucial. Have the hard point that you says is probably the money hill on this set of hard points. And you know what it was for Pinnacle in the first set of rotations. They'll have to do it again here to try and take that lead away from Shinto. That is a huge win from Nezra, looking to shut down Bala. You're going to have Lucho trying to get 1 back, but that is another kill in favour of Pinnacle. And if they can win these gunfights here, that's going to be close, but it's 2 going the way of Shinto. They have the opportunity to make that break now.
Shinto, Lucho take a bow. The kills you have picked up have single-handedly just swooped this map on its head, as Shinto will now be able to at most likely hold on to this 30 unless Pinnacle are going to be able to get a clean break straight through the front. They're not trying anything fancy here, Pinnacle. The strength in numbers, seeing if they can make it work, and Nezra coming through, making life difficult, but Shinto managing to hang on. But you have Choco spawning in the back. Are they going to go for that scrap? They're going to try to, but the mid cutoff from Lucho means that Pinnacle trapped in the back spawn, eventually flipping out once again, being able to reset 4P4, but that was a very important hill for Pinnacle to try and pull this back. But Shinto staying in the lead, staying in control, and seeing their breaking power. I'd be very worried now for Pinnacle sitting on this P4.
Yeah, especially with them only a matter of seconds away from 200 points. Obviously 250 is the cut off here for the win, but it is going to be kills traded back and forth here on P4, and it is in favor of Pinnacle here as they manage to force them up. Now pushing their way up is Conwa, trying to get them from the spawn, but unfortunately will be shut down by Matt. Seems like Matt gets the right kill just at the right time as he comes off a spawn, but Pinnacle not getting onto that time either, because they've been getting shut down all the way to that center of map. Everybody not getting on that time, which Pinnacle really need it at this point in time.
Yeah, Pinnacle are getting a little bit warmer here. It seems like they've done a better job, I feel like, at this point in comparison to the last. Again, not letting Shinto get any time on it really, but we got to have a look over on the Shinto side as well. Mitch 22 and 18 with nearly 2 minutes in the hill. I mean, I say if you're getting any way positive with that much time in hill, you are doing God's work for your side. Mitch being such a key player, being able to pick up those kills that garner that all-important time. But Shinto are going to need to pull a little bit more out of the bag, because Pinnacle slowly but surely have grown into this map and not too far behind. They could strike at any moment to take the lead at the death, so Shinto are going to need to keep on top of their game.
And this could well be that moment as well. There's a good break straight away. The one player was set up for Shinto, but he was shut down as soon as he got through. Pinnacle all set up here, looking for P1, looking for the time that they've got away from them. They're almost within touch and distance of taking that lead away from Shinto Gaming as the break comes in, but only one player in does eventually get shut down, and it's going to be a battle for P1. Both players going ring a rosies around the center console, and it's going to be Mitch that comes out on top.
Yeah, Mitch once again proving how important he is to the side, getting that break, which is surely going to get Shinto over that 200-point mark. And ladies and gentlemen, this series, we were told it was going to be a banger, and it absolutely looks like it's going to be. Winners quarterfinal here, neck and neck in map 1 in a series that could go all the way, as the setup for P2 coming through. Shinto with the rotation. Can Pinnacle break in like they did before? They're a little bit more staggered from each other, but Nezra is going to try and break in from the front. But so far, Shinto are holding, but the pinch now coming through from the side. Huge wave of gunfights on this point. Pinnacle in, but for how long? This is so back and forth.
Oh, it's so back and forth. Lucho went on a 5 spree there to shut them down, and that's 4 dead in the feed. Pinnacle are shut down on the way back to spawn, but there's only one player looking to deal with in the back. That's Conwa. He's trying to get the rotation and try to get the spawns in the back, but sadly that didn't work out for the majority of the team, so Pinnacle are getting very little chance of getting the remainder of this time. It could be shut down here for Shinto if they hold out Pinnacle's pushes. Pinnacle's going to have to try and get inside and stop this time, or else they're going to game 2 1 map down.
Shinto look like they have it done. One more chance, 4 seconds left to go. Can you get in there in time? You're being shut down at the door. Good night, as Shinto take map number 1. And the comms coming through again, saying lovely words to each other. Thanks for the great games, he says, kindly and politely, as he shakes hands with his fellow teammates, his fellow brothers in arms. And it has to be said, I mean, what a terrific map to watch from beginning to end. But I think the staggered spawns in the end is what won it for Shinto. The last time around in P2, Pinnacle were able to spawn together to orchestrate the pinch. But with the staggered spawns, it meant by the time Pinnacle broke in and won it as a 2, Shinto were already right behind them once again to re-break and lock down that final time. Terrific performance from them.
Yeah, exactly that. And 3 players going over 30 kills here for the Shinto gaming side. Mitch was crucial at the time. He was getting a lot of the kills and a lot of the assists, as you could see, pretty much in every single gunfight that was going on. A fantastic start of this series. We're going into what was Pinnacle's picks in a search and destroy on Den. That was a Shinto map pick. You can see why, right? They've went off and they've took the full advantage of their pick by taking that first dub on the board, which instantly will put your morale down if you are Pinnacle gaming. I can still see this going a very close back and forth though between the two sides. It was back and forward for so long, and eventually Shinto got the momentum that they needed.
And it was by the finest of margins, right? I mean, yes, 250 to 180, it looks like a little bit more of a standard score, but I mean, there's a lot that could have switched the complexion of that map. I mean, you take away what was a well locked down P3 by Pinnacle, all of a sudden that game looks like a way more of a dominant performance from Shinto. But then you take some of the crucial gunfights that Shinto managed to pick up out of the equation. Again, those last 1v1s after a trade of back and forths. You have Pinnacle on that time making it neck and neck and potentially flipping it over to the other side. It just shows that the margins, when it gets to this particular level, it's so marginal. It is, as soon as you push in, it is down to that last gunfight, down to that last moment, that key rotation. So that series could have swung either way, changing like any of those circumstances that I just mentioned. So taking that same mindset into map 2, I don't think Pinnacle should be in any way worried. Yes, of course, you like to come away with a map 1, but I think both of these teams have shown that they can have moments of being dominant. Just Pinnacle are going to need to have that moment for themselves here in map 2.
Yeah, definitely going to need to see if they can do this on their map pick of the beautiful map that is Den, for sure. We're going to see this at least 2 more times. So we're going to see it on the Search and Try, and we're going to see it on our new game mode of Overload. But will we see it in a hard point? Will Pinnacle manage to steal one of these games? As you are on board, we kick us off straight away. Remember, there are snipers, only one of which though will be selected, but snipers don't matter when Lucho has the AR in hand, and that is the first blood, but he's traded out instantly by Nezra, and it's going to be another kill going the way of Pinnacle if they find a few more, but unfortunately that is going to be all for Shinto Gaming with a quick one. We're going to have to wait for a full minute because there is a break on the round 1 Sep, just so you know, right? Round 1,
yeah.
Search and Try, we'll go the distance. Doesn't matter if you've got the bomb down, you've got the kills done, you have to wait the whole time, but well done. Shinto start off firing. Fire from that game 1 has got them ready for game number 2.
Well, just you could see from that map 1, or map 2, sorry, that round 1, is that Shinto, they have the reads relatively locked, right? They knew where Pinnacle were going to push, they were able to deal with it well. Granted, they dropped a life in the process, but they kind of just locked in and they read the push, and Pinnacle are kind of yet to get up and running. We're seeing a side maybe a little bit colder. Shinto are in the zone. They're feeling themselves. They've played a game already. Pinnacle do just look a little bit slower, and I would have thought off that map 1, you know, they had the opportunity to get warm. They looked like they were getting warmer, but Shinto, I think, are just staying ahead of the game, ahead of the curve at the moment, and Pinnacle need to find something to catch Shinto out. They need to have a couple of rounds go their way and swing that momentum, because even though there's the finest of margins, I still feel like Shinto are, obviously with that first map win, are more happy with the position that they're currently in, both on the scoreline of this series, but also how they're playing the series up until this point.
Yeah, exactly that, and they've got the extra reps in already today, so they're definitely warm and ready to take this winners quarterfinal. We go into round 2 though, where Pinnacle are going to answer back. Where they're going to try and get some momentum behind them, as it looks like the attacking side of Shinto Gaming are heading towards that A-bomb site.
Yeah, trying to get up aggressive into that A. Are they going to try and flood out Pinnacle on that side? Choco potentially going to be in trouble here, but picking up a huge kill, picking up the second as well. Disgusting. Great defensive effort so far.
Yeah, exactly. Just when you thought Shinto were warmed up, Choco's like, you know what, I can do what you guys can do as well. And there's the third. Is he going to look for the ace? Is he going to find the fourth one? Server does get shut down, so it's still an advantage for Pinnacle. 3 versus 1. Lucho. If anyone's going to do that, it's going to be a Lucho that's going to be able to clutch up here. He doesn't know. Is that Conwa that gets that final kill there? So we're not going to get the ace, but Choco did a fantastic job to find the first 2 early on and give the advantage that Pinnacle needed here in this Search and Destroy.
Yeah, fantastic round. Again, Pinnacle, they need just a couple of moments like that throughout, you know, where they go huge, where a player pulls it out of the bag. Again, we're seeing them play, you know, quite well as a team. They push together, they're orchestrated, you know, well organized, but so are Shinto. And so they're going to need to be able to pull it out of the bag every now and then with some moments of brilliance. And Choco having a moment of brilliance there himself. Hopefully, for their sake, the rest of their team will be able to catch up in that regard, provide some themselves. What a terrific round to win back.
Yeah, exactly. Shinto were definitely there back to back trying to help out here with their teammates so they can get that trade off, but Choco was just wise too in finding the 2. Let's see though, as the attacking side of Pinnacle go towards a bomb site early, they're there quickly and there's only one player of Shinto anywhere near it, but there's a full wrap around here for player number 6. That's Bala. He gets that first blood onto Conwa, who got that final kill on that last round. But it's a full rewrap, yeah, exactly that. They've realised that there's a wraparound from the opposition. Choco, once again, keeps his kill and spray going, and he's on 4 in a row, and they head over towards B.
Beautiful rewrap. Beautiful rewrap. I was just seeing the way that was angling on the map, and I was like, surely you got to do it. You're taking too long to say, and it's an immaculate setup now towards B3 versus 2. They're going to get that bomb down. One watch from mid, one coming from spawn side. Who's going to get that first pick? Going to be crucial. Trying to get the break. Pinnacle stay alive. They bundle up towards one side, and Shinto have a tough break in their hands here.
Yeah, Matt got the information the server is there on that bomb, but it doesn't matter nonetheless because they're so far away to even deal with them. A good wee wrap around from Battle, looking for the opportunities inside the little building. He goes, but that is going to be server shutting down Matt, and all of a sudden it is Battle all on his own. Can he deal with the opposition? The answer to that is no. He's shut down. Pinnacle take the win once again and go 2-1 up in this matchup.
Great round from Pinnacle again. I think that rewrap crucial and being able to get through the way that they did. If they had gone for that plant in A, that flank around the back of the A side meant that there would have been a huge collapse onto the side. They maybe would have got the bomb down, held it for 10-20, but no more. But the rewrap and being able to get the picks along the way completely disrupted the hold from Shinto. And again, that just, you're that in the map, in the moment of just getting the read and figuring out how Shinto are playing and being able to expose them. It's exactly what Pinnacle needed. They're going to finally feel a bit of confidence from this.
Yeah, I would definitely be very confident going into this round here. Jocko still alive and kicking with 4 kills. His name looking to see if he could build towards streaks in a search and destroy, which is few and far and hard between. But while they're on that defensive side, it's going to be a B push here for Shinto Gaming, looking to try and get themselves set up. They have lost one of Lucio though, and he's been Pinnacle in their side of Shinto. But can he survive long enough? No. Choco's nade perfectly executed. Bala goes down. It is a 4v2. Make that a 4v1, sorry, should I say, as Mitch is the last alive, but not for very much longer. A clean sweep in the kills. Go the way of Pinnacle, and they take a 3-1 lead, which, you know what? The one map that they did drop, if you're Shinto Gaming, in the group stages, was a search and destroy, funny enough. I don't know if it was on the same map, but, I mean, search and destroy is maybe not their go-to for the Shinto Gaming side. It's looking quite good though for Pinnacle.
It has been terrific from Pinnacle so far. Again, a little bit of a lapse in map 1, but I feel like that was just a round 1. I feel like it was just a case of them pushing straight towards that site and sort of giving it a go, Shinto being there and having the reads of it. But since then, Pinnacle, they've been playing a far more intelligent search and destroy at the moment and being able to get these picks. But I wouldn't count Shinto out just yet. They can be dangerous. We've seen that already. Pinnacle shouldn't count them out either.
Oh, Choco makes it 6. First blood going his way, and all of a sudden that was everybody pushing down mid. Nezra and the rest of the Pinnacle squad are trying to look for any other opportunities to find that second kill and give them even more of the advantage that they need, but they're heading straight through the mid once again, all side by side. Conwa finds Matt. All of a sudden it's looking like this could be a clean sweep, but no, Mitch shuts down the streak of Choco. Does get 6, but that's as far as it's going. Next, I think it's Mitch, but it's all down to Lucio once again, and the bomb will be planted over towards that A side.
And this has been a massive round. It's increasingly looking more and more difficult for Shinto here at the moment. They've not been able to find a way to break through Pinnacle. Pinnacle have just been absolutely gunning, and they have Choco to thank for that as well, who has been absolutely slaying out, with Lucio getting the 1. The trade's automatically there. I mean, Pinnacle working so well together as a team, showing it once again here. Shinto in a bit of trouble here. They're going to have to really pull it out of the bag if they want to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. When you're 3 rounds down in a search and destroy, you start to sweat a little bit more than you already do inside that venue in Olympus, Ohio. I don't know what the weather's like temperature-wise, but I'm sure inside it is pretty warm with all them bodies there, all watching, all the hype behind it as well. These controllers will start to get a little bit slidier the more and more you get under pressure. But you know what? Pressure is what these both teams are used to, especially on the LAN environment here in Ohio. And I'm sure Shinto will be able to answer back at some point here in this search and destroy. There's no way this goes 6-1. I don't see it, but I mean, stranger things have happened.
Oh, huge first blood once again, and Shinto, it's not been going well for them at all, has it? Every push they've been trying to make, every angle they've been trying to take since this first round, it's just not been working out for them. The trade's constantly there at all times, and Shinto out of time, potentially out of options here in this map, as Pinnacle on top, completely dominating Shinto at this point.
I think instant caster curse there is instantly. I don't see this going to 6-1. It's 5-1 now. There's a chance to close this out here if you're Pinnacle Gaming. Nerja finds the free piece in that round there as well. Even has to pull up the pistol to finish it off as well. That is some quick and decisive motion. I'd never ever switch to that pistol quick enough and even get the shots off. I'm dead before then, so well played from him, and Nezra now on that free streak. Server still keeping his streak going of 5, but it won't matter if this round is over with, because there will be nothing to be used streak-wise if this round goes the way of Pinnacle.
And Pinnacle trying to get pushed up now towards the site. Again, they're playing these gunfights with confidence. They're not even going to go for the bomb plant. They're going to push straight on through, but it has to be said, Shinto have the read of this, and the calm has come through for the wrap through. So a huge gunfight coming through, but Conwa with the rip through that mid, and Pinnacle, they just don't care, do they? They'll take their own teammates out in the process. Sure, why not?
I was just saying it made it a 2v2 now, and the Conway has now been shut down by Mitch. All of a sudden, you've got a chance for Shinto Gaming to close it out, and guess what they do? I was right, it's not going to be a 5-6-1 ending. They do take that next round, but I think that was courtesy of Choco helping them out there for that team kill as well. Makes it a little bit easier for Shinto to deal with the remaining members of Pinnacle, and when Server is facing the opposite direction, there's no way you're 360 turning on Bala there to win that gunfight, because you're focused straight on towards Mitch. But you know what? Still in a chance for a win it. There's plenty of match points here. Well, I say match points, game points, because it's only one game mode. It's not going to be the match yet, but at least a potentially chance of tying this series up.
I think Pinnacle in that last round just trying to push through towards A, maybe taking it a little bit too slow, and the fact they'd done it before meant that the read was there for Shinto. A re-wrap back to A, sort of doubling back may have been the play to make, but all in hindsight, I guess, as Shinto tried to push on through, and there we go. That's the confidence we needed to see from Shinto, that direct engagement, isolating a player from Pinnacle on their own and giving themselves the man advantage. Can they make full use of it? If he's going to go for the plant here, he's very isolated on his own to go for it. Only the mid-watch just coming through. Nezra is going to try and get the double round the back. 1-2. Rock him, sock him. My word. 3 versus 1.
That's unfortunate there. That is just a gift given there for Nezra. He spotted one potentially on that cross. Choco will get the finishing kill. Of course he does. But Pinnacle will get the defusal done. Pinnacle will take the round and take the game. 6-2. 1-1 series we have on our hands. I told you, this is definitely going to go the distance. This is some great Call of Duty on our hands here. This is just Black Ops 7. It's not long out, and these guys already running the show.
I'm not gonna lie, this is making me really worried for the side of Shinto now, because we have 3 dens potentially coming up. Well, not potentially. If Shinto or excuse me, Pinnacle are to go and win it, they will need to play through all 3 dens, and we just seen on that first den how dominant they were. And Pinnacle also with the pick on the map for Hardpoint in den. So the overload, I think, going towards for den 4 Shinto was a little bit of a strange choice, because Pinnacle look incredibly comfortable on this map. They look more dominant. They push the lanes with more confidence. They have the timings down better. Shinto are going to really need to pull it out of the bag in this overload, because even if they manage to take it here, I certainly don't see them being able to win out on a hard point.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult task. That was a Pinnacle pick on the hard point for Den as well, but they obviously like Den, if the fact that 2 of these 3 Den picks is by themselves. Shinto Gaming though, maybe overload. I mean, this is where it's a toss up, right? It's such a strange game mode just now, because we're still getting used to it, right? But the spawns are so quick, and then like it feels like no matter how many kills you get against the opposition, it doesn't really favour you when you've got that pick in your hand and you've got the chance to hit towards one of these overload locations. So like, doesn't matter, you can go on a massive kill streak and still get shut down and lose that opportunity to get the point on the board, which is obviously the most important part, is getting that overload set up and done. There's no way of setting up anything for the opportunities. So going into Den, going into this one, anybody's game still, I say, because I think everybody's still trying to suss it out. We've not really played very many overloads, and I'm sure a lot of them haven't scrimmed it as often as they would have liked at this stage since it is the launch tournament. Speaking of the launch tournament, this is our cast-off as well. So let's pull up the cast-off guys that are involved, right? There's plenty of casters being involved, right? We've already seen Deformer Verdict. We've seen Razor and Hyperactive. You're obviously watching Zep and myself. But we also have so much other great talent on screen coming up soon. Corpse Nova will be getting a double header. Lucky buggers there. A wee bit of double repping. And they got Kamaka and Momo. I've casted with Kamaka, and he's a great lad. And then you've got Tantrums and our Australian buddy Bezo. That's going to be a great cast to watch as well. So guys, make sure, if you want to vote for your favourite casters for their chance to win it, ! Cast off or ! Vote. Cast your vote. Obviously, you've got to pick the Celtic duo, right?
Yeah, I mean, Like, if they don't, I will cry myself to sleep tonight. So if you want that on your conscience, that is fair enough. Vote for someone else. They're terrific guys. But if you want me grinning ear to ear, potentially on your screens tomorrow, then you guys know what to do. The Celtic duo. You got to go for it, right? But no, I say in all honesty, a terrific team that the Game Arena has once again assembled here for this cast-off, for this Black Ops 7 launch tournament. It never fails to impress the level of talent that they manage to attract and what, you know, the entire team brings to the table, not just the players. And as we get ourselves straight into a map 3, let's see what the players bring to the table on Overload.
Yeah, exactly that. Overload sitting perfectly in that middle map is who gets that control first off. Nezha trying to push up, trying to get the kills needed around the edge, but that nade's going to shut him down. That's 3 dead in the feed here for Shinto Gaming. They get to push themselves up and they get to pick up the EMP, and they do so. But look at that, straight after they pick it up, instantly shut down. All of a sudden Pinnacle have the opportunity to do it. This is where it becomes absolute chaos in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and they're just taking their time and trying to get pushed through. They know that as a danger area, and Shinto have held on great. Bolt cut Matt with a nice 2, Ballo at 1, and now Shinto can pick up the overload device, the EMP, and get themselves pushed a little bit more forward. But again, we're not really seeing it get out of the middle of the map, right? We're seeing both of these teams are very quickly to get back to center and make life a little bit difficult, and haven't seen anyone yet try to rotate it on the wide angles. Everyone's trying to go very direct through this mid instead of trying to get it wide and play these sides. It's like they're so afraid of wrapping back in case they drop it.
Yeah, exactly. You could bring it back to your side all of a sudden, and there's a chance of it being an easy pickup and dropping that EMP in your opposition's half. But yeah, middle map win is just absolutely chaos, and you're seeing player number 8, that Shoko, trying to push up into that server, into their side, into their spawning side, but they get shut down. And the problem with you carrying that EMP, right, is you're visible to everybody on that map on the opposition. Server goes on a 5 spree but gets shut down, and EMP is pushed up a little bit further into Shinto's side. But they need to find the kills, and it doesn't work out there when Bala snaps on with the Dravek and finds 2.
That's a great shutdown from Shinto to now try and move towards this B site on the outside, trying to get themselves pushed up here in through the window. Of course, knowing that there's a bit of danger ahead in the flank coming through from behind as well. Will they get squashed in? Pinnacle, they're able to hold on. It got a little bit close to that B side, but now Pinnacle will get trying to push towards the Shinto A side. This is very intense. There's such a little amount of room for a mistake at this moment.
Oh yeah, it is so difficult. Like, you just show how difficult it is to get up that map there and push forward towards any of these target zones. Falling off the map though and getting a kill at the same time though, so that'll be alright. It was almost like trade for trade, but server will regather that EMP and now trying to push up that right hand side. Can they get up that map and get further forward? No, the device carrier shut down instantaneously. Mitch back and forward, the kills go in that kill feed, and it is still yet to be found any points scored. But now with the new overload position, maybe there's a chance to kind of push up as far as possible. Server has it in hand, but 2 dead. In the feed goes Shinto, and back and forward once again. This is going to be the shutdown they needed though. This is it. There's nobody home at B. Pinnacle might lose that first round of kills. Goes away, gets the device carrier just to the right time. Oh my god, it's so close. This is the closest we've been.
Oh my god. Surely just go for a dive. I mean, it was trying to run it towards the point, was a little bit tetchy. You know, again, if it was me, knife out, running, diving, don't care if it get killed in the process. But I mean, god, that was close. Pinnacle recovered immaculately well.
Yeah, they have still got the kills in the back though. There's only one player home, and that's going to be Server, but there we go. Shut down, trays it back and forward you go, and Pinnacle have control of their site at least, and they're going to be able to regather that EMP and take it back up to mid-map. And look, there as they head down towards that B side of Shinto Gaming, but there's 2 players already looking to watch that carrier because they can see him. They got the sight on him. It's almost like having walls when you see him carrying that EMP, so pretty easy to read, and you get the kills going your way.
That looks like it's very difficult. I'm not actually that sure. I imagine it goes till there is a winner. Maybe it goes by KD or something. But it looks like Pinnacle, in terms of their offense, have the bit of the harder side to push. I mean, I'm looking at that angle of push down B, and it is very, very narrow. There's not really that much room to again maneuver through once you get pushed up, because you see where Shinto are set up right now. That is a very clean hold. There's such direct gunfight angles. No real way to sort of finesse your way in. You just got to go big or go home. And it's Pinnacle trying to go big here. The pre-fire coming through as well. And hang on just a minute. They're going to get the push through. This is going to be close, but they get it.
What a push through. We're done for 1 at least for Pinnacle. That's a good ending to the half if they can hold it now. But that was so difficult to come by, and it was at the very ending of round number 1, at least in this. But is it going to be instantly answered back? Because there's nobody home for Pinnacle. It's going to be player number 6, Nezha, looking to get there. Bala gets shut down just before it. Nezha will find the 1 and the 2, and all of a sudden he doesn't care where it goes. Here we've got 2 seconds left. Time will be out, and it'll be 1-0 going into that second half of Overload. It took some time, but we eventually seen the EMP being dropped into that zone, and it's in favour of Pinnacle.
Well, I think Pinnacle just shut me right up here. I was saying about how that B site looked very difficult to push, maybe half questioning why they decided to go direct for that angle, but I think because it's so direct and it was so funneled, they just had confidence in their ability to be able to win those gunfights, being able to push straight through, lock it down. They had the pre-fires on, they had the pinches ready, they pushed together incredibly well, and then just afforded themselves enough of that gap to be able to get straight through. Shinto in a little bit of trouble, but again, to be down only 1-0, far from the end of the world at this stage.
Oh yeah, we've seen how difficult it was to find 1 though, so Shinto will be maybe worried a little bit, but knowing fine well that they're on the side that Pinnacle did get that 1, so there is still a chance for Pinnacle in this one. They get that first blood early here, but it doesn't matter kills, like we said. I need to get at least 4 dead and then potentially look for a wraparound somewhere, but that's 4 dead. All of a sudden, I've said it, they're making their way forward, but shut down by a free kill feed once again in favor of Pinnacle. It's so difficult to get control of that early on in the first center kind of location.
Yeah, and I mean, you get those kills in mid-map and you feel for a second like you're free to get pushed through, but by the time you even get to the other side of mid-map, you're just almost instantly shut down. You spawn up so quickly to be able to get up onto that defense. Is Shinto holding on here on defense themselves, going to try and get pushed forward, of course. Kind of waiting for the pinch through mid again. It very much relies on the ability of players to be able to kind of get through those off angles and disrupt the flow of the defensive team who's getting prepped to set up against a push, right? It's trying to get around the side and get those off angles to sort of disrupt, but this has been a fantastic switch around from Shinto to try and get pushed up towards B, but Pinnacle calm, cool and collected on that defense once again to shut it down right at the home base.
Yeah, exactly that, and they've got a chance opening towards A. They're doing what they have to do here. They're sending the players forward without the EMP, trying to look for them kills on that zone and round, and the carrier is going to be behind, but he's left behind and shut down, and all of a sudden that is 3 dead once again for Pinnacle. They're going back to spawn, but look how quickly they are converging over towards that B side once again. You're going to see some good kills here from Shinto if you can make it up. The chance that B seems to be that opportune position to be kind of pushing that overload device.
Yeah, finding a little bit more success down this angle, but we've seen a Pinnacle on the defense on the other side. They don't mind leaving this defense down to the last minute, that last push. We've seen plenty of times Shinto get very close, but not get over the line when it came to trying to attack that B on the other side. So Pinnacle just kind of happy to sit back, play deep, and have faith in their gunfights to win in that sort of final straw last stretch. But Pinnacle now stretching that EMP over to the other side to try and attack that B. It seems to be the Bs on the both sides that are the preference, as now Pinnacle should be through, making that 2-0, and all of a sudden Shinto with an even larger mountain to climb.
Yeah, and we've seen how difficult it is as well. That mountain is definitely getting steeper and steeper and steeper here for Shinto Gaming Club. They are looking like they're going to be 2-1 down so far after a great solid performance in Overload here for Pinnacle. But we still have 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so there's still plenty of time for Shinto to try and bring things back. But if it's kills traded back and forward, it's going nobody's direction. EMP will be regathered, but guess what? You're visible to Charcoal and you're shut down. It's going to be Lucho looking to do the same as well, but Server, sorry, gets the 2 kills in a row, and Choco, just gets beamed by Mitch.
And Pinnacle have been doing a great job of playing towards Overload, right? I mean, they've been just guarding that EMP as well. You saw that when they dropped the first player there, not instantly pushing out to try and get that EMP moved. They recognized there was more players in the area. They counted the numbers, they done the math, and they just waited for the right time. But Shinto now with Mitch going huge, potentially the lifeline they need to get pushed through. But of course, Pinnacle are going to wrap towards that B, and Shinto are going to need to win another full wave of gunfights. But I'm looking at this flank from Lucho. This could be huge to get them through. How many can you get? Only getting the 1. But does that create enough of an angle to get through onto B? It has, and they have time. 1 minute 25 left for Shinto to get at least one more cap.
Yeah, exactly that. Now you just need to wait till that device gets set up, and they're trying to push back in the spawn here of your Shinto Gaming Club, waiting for that regal. And guess what? Is it going to go back to back? Bala looking to go towards that B side as well, but Conwa's there and he shuts him down,
God!
And he gets the equalizer. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. The EMP absolutely disrupting on the point, and Shinto going back to back in a matter of seconds.
What a rescue we've seen from Shinto. They are in the driver's seat. Pinnacle have been pushed back. They have to try and regain. It was huge from Mitch to go huge when he did. Conwa picking up 2, but Lucho and Matt picking up a couple. Lucho with the second, and Shinto have found a flow state laid on. 40 seconds left to go to get one more cap. They're once again going to try and take this to beam. Pinnacle are going to try and set up, but Shinto have just been going gung-ho with running forward, but I think this time they'll have to slow down a little bit as Pinnacle are keeping them held back.
Let's see what they can do. Pinnacle was the first one to get the overload device set up, and the second, and all of a sudden you're seeing 2 quick answer backs from Shinto when it needed the most. Does this go to overtime here? And let's see who is going to take it from there on out. Bokamat finds the EMP, picks it up, but his teammate will fall. Lucho still in the center of the map. Conway's just waiting, but has gone wrapping around all the way to their own B site, and with the time down to 3 seconds, there is no way he is making that full wrap around towards the opposition B. So now, no more respawns. That's what it comes down to. Now, kills matter a lot more.
This is going to be huge. Again, they wrap it back around their own A site to just be able to gather themselves around for one more push, one more opportunity to get through. All of a sudden, it's like an even tenser round of search and destroy in round 11. I didn't think that was possible, but yet here we are. Shinto rescuing this one to make it 2-2, but now a 3 versus 3 in overtime on map 3. It couldn't be any closer, but Shinto are being pressed back very well.
Yeah, definitely a good answer back here for Choco to make it 3 versus 3. Like I said, so we know where that kill in the carrier is, right? Nesra, they all know. Everybody in Pinnacle know. Right, this is just... I get a little bit can now, so who's going to show hands first? Conwa gets some great tags there. Can't get the kill though, so that will be a regen there for Mitch, but who's challenging it first? They're looking for the trades, they're looking for the opportunities. It's Mitch that turns the corner, he gets the angle, he gets the first kill. Nerja finds one though, tries to answer back. It's 1-for-1, and it's Shinto. They completely come back from a 2-0 deficit to win the round 3-2. They are happy. Right there, and you can see even Tantrum's watching on by the sidelines. He is got hand in mouth because that's how close it was.
Take a bow, Shinto. Ice in the goddamn veins. That was huge. I mean, if you had just tuned in when that second overload came in from that EMP, you were thinking, surely there is no way Shinto get back into this. They've been on the back foot. They've been trailing. And I gotta tip my hat to Mitch. I think Mitch had, if I'm remembering correctly, had a little bit of a slow start to that map 3, right? But just with time and effort, picked up a couple of vital kills, which were crucial for that first overload to go through for the side of Shinto. And from there, they found the wave, they found the form, they kept a player pushed up on that B side to just continue picking up those kills and siphoning off that defensive effort from Pinnacle to be able to go through with the second, and then the patience and the nerve to just wait, run that clock down, and when the moment presented itself, fly towards that B to get that all important third overload. That is top tier gameplay. Thank you know, people who like Control, I get it, but I'm looking forward to Overload this year. That showing alone has made me super excited for what Overload has in store for us this season.
That's the thing, right? It is one of a lot of the players are disagreeing with what they think about how this game plays. Maybe they change a few settings in it for it to be a little bit more viable. Respawn timing's one of the biggest things that everybody is complaining about. That is maybe the one thing that changes the flow, or maybe even just having a center zone pick up, almost like the capture flag and only one zone. But that made it so interesting. The whole re-wrap around that we've seen from Pinnacle, they got their opportunity to then get back at them. But Shinto, that was something else to bring it back. And a search and destroy almost ending to the end to see who will come out on top when it's a tie game is just as exciting as watching round 11 in a search and destroy, and I'm here for it, definitely. we're both here for it, Zep. We are looking forward to what's going to be a potentially game 5 on our hands. But currently 2-1 Shinto Gaming. We're going to go to a break, ladies and gentlemen, there in the arena. You guys can get yourself filled up for water, get yourself ready, because game 4, we're going back to Den, but it's not Search and Destroy. It is not the good old, well, one we just watched there, the Overload. It's going to be a hard point. We're back to another respawn, and we're back to where Shinto started off by winning in a hard point over on Cortex. This could be anybody's game, and we could be seeing a game 5 raid. Fingers crossed for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here into game 4. We're going to go to is going back to Den for our third time seeing this map. Zep, it's a close one. It is 2-1 in favour of Shinto Gaming. Do Pinnacle take this to a game 5?
I think Pinnacle have it in the locker to take it to game 5, but what we're after seeing from Shinto on that map, I think, is that moment you look for in every team in any game that could go all the way, where they show a bit of that conviction to see them through, right? They were down, they were out, they had no right to take that overload, especially off the back of the fact that Pinnacle sort of gave them a bit of a hiding in that map too, for lack of better terms, right? It was Pinnacle's map. They look comfortable on Den, and they look comfortable on the overload, but Shinto managing to turn it around, swinging that momentum at such a vital time. So going into map 4, I think we're going to see a Pinnacle once again be a little bit more confident, going into a bit more of a free-flowing respawn as opposed to an overload. But we've also seen the Shinto side at moments dominate on a respawn like Hardpoint in that Cortex. So it's super up in the air. The hope is now that for Pinnacle, it's not a case of that they're just S&D warriors and on Den, right? If they can show how good they are at Den and respawn, then I definitely see a map 5 on the cards.
Well, yeah, definitely. Den on the respawn for that overload was looking good for them at this stage, where it felt like it was theirs to lose. And guess what? They end up going and losing it as well, with the greatest of comebacks from Shinto Gaming to take it from 2-0 down to take it 3-2 in the final round. But Hardpoint, this is a completely different game. We've got us set up here for P1, 2 kills instantly off the rip here, go the way of Shinto Gaming, and they're going to be the ones on that early time.
Yeah, on the early time, Shinto continuing with their form, with their momentum, as they are slaying out early on to try and keep Pinnacle pushed back. A little bit back and forth here on the kill feed, but it looks so far that Pinnacle have been able to answer back. Well, it did for that initial time, but then Shinto with the setup, just getting the couple and have been able to get back through onto the point.
Yeah, exactly that. Literally sending the nade over, looking for an opportunity to get back in and get that time once again. 18 seconds remain here. They're already past that 18-second mark themselves, so a chance to double up their score for the remainder of this time. Server's looking through the window, well, through the broken wall, but no opportunities there. But they're set up and looking for P2 or Pinnacle. They've got the setup ready. Choco is already waiting, but you've lost 2 players already in that early setup. But it's still Shinto trying to go through that middle map.
Yeah, Shinto desperately trying to get themselves pushed through. Pinnacle, I mean, we've seen what Pinnacle were able to do on map number 1 when they were able to get set up on those money hills where they could control the spawns. They were very solid in being able to hold out, and Shinto going to have to show some direct breaking power through the front. But so far, Pinnacle having to barely break a sweat in dealing with them until now, with Bala managing to pick up one. And just like that, it took a little bit longer than they maybe anticipated, but Shinto looked like they're going to finally get through. But in saying that, Nezra helping Pinnacle hold on just enough so that the team can get in, perhaps work the pinch to collapse back onto the point through the staggered spawns. Pinnacle, that was huge, working that defense.
Yeah, huge work from Nezra, getting the 2 back-to-back after Bala just found 2 to get themselves the break that they needed, and Shinto Gaming will lose the remainder of this time to Pinnacle. Pinnacle taking that lead, just a narrow one at that, 15 seconds as we head over towards P3, another middle opportunity, but it's going to be Shinto Gaming with 4 players all pushing that point. They're going to be split between Pinnacle on both sides, and it's going to be Nezra that he's trying to hold to spawn in the back. He gets 1 kill in the back. Choco and Conwa fill with kills as well, and they make the break instantaneously. As Shinto barely even got set up.
Yeah, Pinnacle, I think, are showing that this map is a little bit more up their alley. This was their pick, their comfort zone. It was a little bit outside of the status quo at the end of that map 3, but Pinnacle potentially finding themselves back on form, back in their comfort zone and in the driving seat to take us to a map 5. Of course, not that far ahead at this early stage, but they are looking more confident in these gunfights. They are picking up more kills, holding the better angles, dictating the map, the pace of the play. It's all them to begin with here, as that was such a clean hold hold on this P3 as they now seek to rotate towards P4, and a massive kill at the back.
Oh, Mitch held up there at the back for some time. They're waiting on the rotations of Pinnacle. Finds the 2 kills that are necessary for Shinto to get 2 players there early, and all the kills going their way. Shinto trying to take control of P4, and they have got more numbers at it at the moment, but it's going to be Nezra who's been absolutely criteria top max, double positive already, 12 and 6, and he's looking good, and he's getting the kills where need be. Server as well taking more kills along the way. Conwa finding his second as he goes forward onto the point. They've pushed out Shinto Gaming, and Pinnacle looking to get past that 100-point mark and take a 50-point lead into the final set of rotations here on P1. And it's a chance to try and have what is pretty much a full hell in control. But you know what? Trades go back and forward. It's Shinto Gaming who's got the close spawn.
Yeah, Pinnacle have done a great job here of making life difficult and trying to continue with this lead. Shinto have had their moments, but unfortunately, as a team, not being able to pull it together. Lucho having an absolute nightmare here, 2 and 12. But in saying that, despite that nightmare, only 30 points behind. So if Lucho's able to pull this back on the KD front, all of a sudden you're going to have a lot more slaying power that could perhaps be the difference maker against this Pinnacle side. But it has to be said, so often in this kill feed, I'm seeing a wave of 3-1 when it comes to the blue of Pinnacle wiping out Shinto whenever they get any sort of control on the map. As once again set up towards mid, Pinnacle look comfortable. Shinto trying to wrap their way around the sides to pinch and collapse in. But for the most part, Pinnacle seem to be ready for it and dealing with it happily enough. Shinto are just simply taking too long to get any sort of presence on these points.
Yeah, exactly. And Pinnacle are watching all the right angles and the right placements, ready for any push coming in from Shinto, as they're all now having to force it down mid. It's going to be a contested hard point at the moment. Lucho, Mitch goes 2. Lucho trying to find his third. His second, sorry, there we go. Mitch finds his third, and that's exactly what we need Lucho to do. Start getting some kills on the board, and all of a sudden Shinto will get the remaining bit of scrap time, and they're trying to push out the spawns here and try and get Pinnacle in the back where Conwa is set already, but he has been stunned, and an opportunity to be shutting him down and win that spawn for Shinto. But what a gun win fight there for Conwa. That is crucial for Pinnacle's opportunities here to make sure P2 stays in their control.
Conwa had no right to win that gunfight. They were through in the spawn. Shinto had the hill. Just a split-second decision to turn around and still somehow managed to win the gunfight. It kept the spawns towards Pinnacle, and it kept Shinto looking the wrong way so the Pinnacle could break in through the front, as they're now going to start painting this kill feed blue again. Server with 2, and Pinnacle with the cleanest hold they have had yet, but the spawns flipping, but not fully. You're going to have players that are going to be able to pinch in from either side, and a little bit of fortune there for Shinto to get themselves back onto this point and get themselves over the 100-point mark. Less than 50 points in it. Shinto having handed themselves a little bit of a lifeline here. They need to pick it up if they want to try and get it done here, because it looks like at this moment in time we're going all the way to a map 5.
Yeah, it does very much look that way, but they managed to pull that deficit down. It's still within a full hard point, so at least anybody's game still heading into our second set of rotation. Who is watching the angles? It's blue once again in the kill feed, 2 for 2 here as Pallet and Mitch fall, and now Shinto find it a difficult opportunity to get towards P3. They're wrapping around the back. That's one kill going the way of Lucho, but it's traded out instantaneously, and the next kill still go the way of Pinnacle, but it is pretty much one fight versus one. But Pallet just went massive and finds 3.
A 3-piece, and Shinto once again, when they are needed, they are showing up. Lucho has pulled up the numbers ever so slightly. Bala coming through with the 3-piece. They're not quite there yet. They haven't done what they did in map 3, but they're giving themselves the opportunity to do so. They're not going to get anywhere near this P3 once more, but they do have an opportunity to set up for a clean P4, which if they could hold, would have them right back into this game. Being around 60 points down, they need a clean 60 to tie this one up.
Yeah, P4 was set up there. Con was looking for the wraparound, but it's Pinnacle that shut them. Shinto, shuts down Pinnacle and get that early time here. Set up, ready to go. But you can just see all the blue arrows making their way in. They get the kill on the hard point. They get onto the hard point, and all of a sudden, Pinnacle get the early break. Once again, we've seen it time and time again. Shinto set up really early with the early wraparound, but it's Pinnacle that takes the early bits of time. And back and forward it goes with the close spawns in favour of Pinnacle. This is looking good for Pinnacle as they go to try and cross that 200-point mark.
Yeah, this was the moment from Shinto, really, where they had those rotations they needed to hold. But credit to them right now, kind of holding from the front. Pinnacle playing it patient, waiting to be able to get pushed onto this point together, and in all honesty, from their position, are happy to contest. But Lucho picking up a very vital kill there, but then Choco Conwa with 2, and coming through with the finish. Pinnacle are going to be able to hold the last 10 seconds, get over the 200 point mark and a little more. We return to P1, where things are going to start getting a little bit desperate for Shinto as they try to get themselves set up. They need to be able to hold on to this point and rotate well towards P2. This next 120 seconds that is available to both of these sides is going to be absolutely huge, and Shinto can't afford to falter. But already look at that flag from Nezra, by the way. It's going to flip those spawns and cause a potential collapse option onto the point. Shinto have been completely disrupted.
Yeah, Conway getting the time on the hard point, but Mitch will shut him down trade for trade to go, though, because of wraparound from Pinnacle. They managed to get there, but they held so well on P1 last time in our second set of rotations, and they don't really need to compete for too much of this time, but they're just wanting to make sure they shut down the players that are crossing across from Shinto Gaming. And if they do that, a couple dead in the feed, that's 2, that's 3, get on time, you have a chance to almost close this one out. But a good strong lead that you have here if you're Pinnacle. But that's Bala once again, 2 kills going its way, can't find a bird this time round, but it is going back and forward. Pinnacle needing as much of this time as possible, but it doesn't matter. Nonetheless, they have the spawns for P2, and you know how strong P2 can be, especially if you have that back spawn held onto, and that is exactly what Server's doing here.
Well, Conwa and Nezra need to take a bow with each other respectively. 28 and 19, 27 and 19. Almost even in the KD, nearly a minute in hill between them. You split that on average, is probably almost exactly a minute between the two of them. Top tier players for their side, potentially have gotten them all the way to a map number 5 here, as they're going to try and push on. 25 seconds left to go, but what I will say, Shinto are making these last 2 seconds incredibly difficult. They're continuously getting onto this point, staggering the spawn, staggering that time, and actually doing a decent job of holding from front here, and still a long way to go. It has to be perfect hard point from here on in, but again, they're giving themselves a chance, which is exactly what they did in map 3.
Yeah, they're not pushing up. Nezra's not looking for the opportunity. Choco finds 2, but Lucho finds 2 back himself. He's brought himself very much better in his KD scenario. He's 17 and 28, still going negative, but you know what? Some of these kills have mattered, and Shinto Gaming get themselves into a good spot. But look, set up early already, you can see the kills there, but look at the spot set up here for Pinnacle. 2 players are at that new hard point. Guess what? They only need 20 more seconds out of this 55 seconds. It is a chance to close it out. Shinto still can't win it here, but they need to get all this time to make an even chance of them winning this series. Pinnacle looking to take this to game 5.
Yeah, and Shinto have been a million miles away from getting anywhere near this point, taking too long for the pushes, and the pushes ending up staggered because of it. Pinnacle are going to be able to hold on. They are going to be able to do enough. Choco with the 3, and Pinnacle have bought their way to a map 5 with another clean performance here on Den, clearly favouring that map on the overall. Despite the slip-ups on map 3, they lock it down here to send us over to a raid search and destroy. This series promised to be an absolute banger, and I think every single map, every moment has more than delivered on that.
Yeah, exactly. A map 5 to decide who continues in this winners bracket. Quarterfinal almost over. Who makes it to the semis? Pinnacle looking to try and do it here on that search and destroy, where they came big on search and destroy on map number 2. They're looking to go this time over towards raid. The very classical map. I wonder how many of these players have played multiple versions of raid. It's not changed very much. It looks the same, except it's got different colors, it's got different looks. But you know what? The map will play the exact same way. The lanes are the same. Who's going to have the upper hand here between Shinto and Pinnacle Zep? I'm looking forward to this final round here in this quarterfinal.
Absolutely, I'm really looking forward to it as well. And you know, if I was a Shinto fan, I'd be really worried at this moment in time. Granted, Den was Pinnacle's map, but Pinnacle really did have the upper hand when it came to search and destroy in terms of the fluidity of motion between the 4 of them. They were locked, they were there for the trades, always there for the one-on-one picks as well. It wasn't just map knowledge in that search and destroy in map 2. They kind of had all of the above that was necessary to come away with that victory. So I think Shinto definitely fighting from a losing position at this moment in time, but they picked the map. They picked this map 5, and again, raid, search and destroy. I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those maps, the same as raid has been in the past, you have no choice but to put reps into it. You have no choice but to be good at it. It's not an outlier map. It's not a map that you can afford to have slightly less reps on. Raid Search and Destroy is always going to rear its ugly head wherever it shows up in a Call of Duty. So both of these teams will be feeling pretty well versed in it. Shinto's pick, can they make the most of it at this stage?
Yeah, exactly. And they want to make the most of this. They want to stay in this winner's bracket where, you know what, it makes life a little bit easier. Less games you have to be putting in, less amount of hours at that monitor. But you know what? You are both looking good for the tournament overall. Whoever drops down, no matter what, both sides looking very good nonetheless. Not as good as it would be swimming in that pool in a nice temperature weather as it is not here up in Scotland. I'm assuming over there in Ireland, Zep, is just as cold as it is over here just now. Unlike the guys over in Ohio, they might be a little bit warmer, but I don't know actually what their temperatures are racking up at the moment. But it won't be as beautiful as Raid, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, warm here in Ireland and Scotland is probably a mild tepid at best over there in the States. I think they would laugh at what we would consider warm, but we take what we can get here over in the blistering highlands. You know, myself being at the top of Ireland as well, I'd say our climates are incredibly similar in that they're absolutely terrible. But the map looks lush, vibrant, beautiful. The gameplay up until this point has been immaculate. Let's hope it can stay that way as we get into this map 5 and see another top tier performance, because look, I gotta say, I think the pressure of this scenario of what we're seeing between both of these sides, given everything that's happened, I don't think we're going to see a Search and Destroy blowout. I have a feeling this is going to go round for round. We could see this go all the way to round 11.
We want it. This is what we are here for. We are here for a game 5, round 11. All of the opportunity to watch as much Search and Destroy and as much Call of Duty as possible here for our chance here in this cast-off tournament here in our launch tournament at Game Arena Company. They are fantastic setup. They have what looks like an absolutely great flowing sequence of the production, because they've been fantastic, bringing you all the pictures, all these casters, getting everything set up for you guys to watch at home as well as in the venue. I'm jealous I'm not in Ohio, but you know what? I am not jealous of the fact that I am getting to cast over two of the better sides in this winners quarterfinals, because this is going to be a game to watch. You all have to stay tuned, and you also have to hit !vote and vote for your best casters of the weekends of Saturday, because these are the guys on your screen that you're getting to see throughout today, and a chance to potentially cast that grand finals tomorrow. Who's you going to vote for? I see the ones on that right hand side, the two duo over there. Zep's got a much cleaner camera than I do. That was a nice wee photo from a LAN event as well. So I mean, this is just the beautiful duo of the Celtic duo, Zep.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, beautiful just hits the nail on the head, right? I mean, if we're to vote on looks, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful people on this screen, guys, but you know. Actually, I'm not going to go down that route, because then I think, due to me alone, we may end up being rock bottom, right? Judge us on our talent actually, don't even judge us on that. I'm too scared to even go for that, right? Okay, just judge us on the game. It's been a terrific series from start to finish. Judge the casters off the back of the series, please, for the love of God. But
it's been the best game.
Yeah, I mean, look, in all seriousness, you know, there's a lot of terrific talent there that was just on your screen, and best of luck to each and every one of them. You know, I mean it when I say it. I think everyone there has the talent and the capacity to deserve the ability to be able to, you know, win out in this entire thing, of course. But, you know, just again, you guys have the opportunity to vote, so please, you know, do vote, let your voices be heard, and show support, whether it does be for us or others. You know, as us casters, we love to see support from you guys as well. You know, it means the world to us to know that, you know, we're on the right track and you know, doing the right thing from time to time. But as we take a look at the maps here once again, folks, you know, a little bit of a recap on this series before going into the map. Cortex Hardpoint 250 to 180 could have gone either way, but Shinto Gaming looked strong towards the end to run away with it. You flip it on its head. Search and Destroy on Den. Pinnacle looking confident, looking like they would have an easy job on Den. Map 3, Overload, once again on Den. Looked like it was going to be Pinnacle's day and looked like the series could be theirs from then on, but Shinto showing grit and determination, fighting back with only 1 minute 20 left to go to eventually make it 2-2 with almost 30 seconds left to go, to where it goes to an overtime stalemate where Shinto get the job done in the end. And then, of course, folks, for those of you who again who've may have just missed it. We just had our map 4 once again, completing the trio of Den, where it's 250 to 189. Very similar score lines on the hard points, but flipped the other way about as Pinnacle prove that they are on top of that Den at the moment. They are the Den Kings. Now going over to our raid, where truly anything could happen from here.
Yeah, this is where it is. It comes down to the experience of the map of raid. The chance to seal your deal in that winner's semi-final. We've been here time and time before in multiple different Call of Duties. Chat, I want to hear from you. I want to see in the chat what you think predictions are going to be for this match. Give us a score. We've already seen a couple of scores posted in the chat there, thinking who is going to come on top and what the score will be. I'm thinking this is around 11, and I can't even pick who it's going to be to because the teams are so closely matched. Yes, the S&D was very favoured to Pinnacle in our second map. They're over on Den, but I don't see a raid when it's the experience of these players. It's going to be the same kind of scenario. So let's see where we kick ourselves off. But as Pinnacle are on the attacking round and they're looking towards that B site, and like we said, you do get the chance to see these snipers, and it is Nezra from Pinnacle that gets that first blood. There's a second kill going their way as well, but Mitch does find Choco to make it a 3 versus 4. Sorry, my bad. A 2 versus, yeah, it's 2. It says 3, but it's 4. It's actually 2. Look at that. Codcaster doing Codcaster things already. Zip.
Keeps you on your toes, you know. Codcaster lies. We were preaching this all through Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7. Doesn't look like it's going to prove any different. Listen to us. Let our voices guide you. Don't believe the lies and deceit sold to you by the in-game UI. But you know, again, if we're going to put our hearts in our sleeves here, taking a little bit of a guess at the scoreline, 6-4 for Pinnacle, folks. Clip that. Am I incredibly right, incredibly wrong? We will find out. But so far, Shinto in trouble, trying to rescue this round on defense as Pinnacle get that bomb planted.
Yeah, Mitch looking for the wraparound. Nobody is going to be on that base side on the other side, and it's going to be a wraparound here from Mitch as well. He's going to go all the way down through basketball, see if he can find any players, but none of them are there. They're all sitting up in the luxury penthouse up there in the windows, down below as well at the bar side, looking for that next kill. Bala comes big. Another kill going the way of Conway. It's a it's the 2 versus 1, and it's in favour of Shinto.
Is he going to hop onto that defuse? It's a sniper out as well, Conway.
Sniper.
Oh, and he's hopped the defuse. Shinto got it.
That's it. That is clutch. That is clutch indeed. I can't believe they turned it around like that. Did Shinto get the time for it? Yes, they did. Of course they did. And that will be round 1. A better start to their search and destroy.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic start, has to be said. You know, down but not out. I think Shinto, they live for those scenarios. Again, what we've seen in that map 3 with the looking all but done, their ability to come back that round, you know, 3 versus 2. Pinnacle, they were set up rather comfortably. They could have lived, as you said, around that penthouse area, run down the clock, but Shinto pushing through with an incredible 2 kills to make life just more and more difficult for this Pinnacle side, who are now on the back foot from a round that they should have won. But let's see if they can hold up on defense.
Yeah, let's see what they've got on defense. I think you're unfortunate as well if you're Conway. You got a sniper out and a pistol in a 2 versus 1 against you. It is a very difficult task. But first blood going the way of Shinto Gaming. It's instantly matched back, and Choco will find the next, and all of a sudden you have the man advantage once again if you're Pinnacle in this defense. But we've seen what the man advantage happened last time round. It was turned on its head, and it was still a favourable win for Shinto. Can it be the same this time round?
Well, Pinnacle picking up a huge kill there, leaving Matt on his own. Is himself and his bowl cut trembling at the seams at the moment, as he's going to have to try and wrap around. But timing perhaps favouring him here to at least have the opportunity to go to B. But I mean, in a 3 versus 1, do you even want to plant straight away? Because, you know, you're just telling everyone where you are. You're putting that bullseye in your head. Sometimes you just want to get that pick first and get out. But the site looking relatively clear. He's not actually going to go for the plant. Is going to go for the wraparound, but I think Pinnacle, they're just happy enough to let him plant, but that's not going to happen, and he's about to run right into an iron sight.
Yep, Nesha is watching it, but the jump up doesn't matter if he jumps out of the line of sight at a head height. It is still going to be a Pinnacle that will get the win in the round in defense. A difficult task though in a 1v3, to be fair. Even if you're wrapping around and you look for opportunities, yes, put the bomb down, but you still have to deal with 3 players, and that's going to be harder than trying to take them all out in the first place. That is the hardest task in a search and destroy. The only thing harder than that is trying to do a 1v4. And thankfully that wasn't the case, but it is Pinnacle 1 for 1, and I think this is going to go 1 for 1. I can't lie. It seems to be the type of game mode this is going to be on raid here. A 1 for 1 attacking trying to see what they've got to go around towards B again here for Pinnacle. Straight through the penthouse, straight for the opportunity, look at the bar and see where the opposition are setting themselves up.
Well, you know, it has to be said, Pinnacle should have had that attacking round in round number 1. They arguably threw it away, depending on how you would view it. So, you know, Pinnacle still do have it in the locker, I think, to come through on top of this one. I think on the overall, little more controlled than Shinto. Shinto having to rely on those moments, but we know how Shinto can get as a 4 once they truly lock in. And so far, they are keeping Pinnacle pushed very far back.
I was going to say that nade from Matt, he knows exactly where Pinnacle were. If that was to land there, all 4 players of Pinnacle are pretty much in the same spot, and if that was to hit, there's a chance of getting multiple kills from that frag. Unfortunately, not to be the case. It's still 4 versus 4, and he pushed up towards that bomb site. Nezha, is he going to go look for it? No, he's not. He realizes he gets shots at, but goes mid-map. Instantly is the first one to be drawn blood. Shinto with the advantage and know where the bomb is.
Oh yeah, Shinto in a great position now. The clock running down, time running out for Pinnacle to get this bomb down. They are just being picked apart left, right and center. And as you say, blow for blow, trade for trade. Shinto taking it around themselves to go 2-1 up.
Yep, looking good. It was a difficult task for Nej. As soon as he realised that I've been spotted at the bomb, I have to make a play. He went mid-map, and unfortunately there was somebody sitting waiting. And that just makes things a little bit easier here if you're Shinto Gaming, getting that first blood and know exactly where the remaining players are of Pinnacle, because they all try to shoot back at you, and you have that advantage in numbers. It Search and Destroy is a numbers game at the end of the day.
It absolutely is, and going into this round for Pinnacle, with the first round behind them where they looked dominated for all things considered. You know, again, that round 1 shoulda, woulda, coulda, but they could have come away with that round had the cards fallen slightly differently, but they struggled on that round, and now a first blood once again going to the side of Shinto. Pinnacle in a little bit of trouble here is now that wrap going straight through to B, and Shinto have complete control of this site. Pinnacle, when it comes to the reads, they've been very reliant on going towards this A later on and just playing for the hole, but I mean, they're giving up so much control in what is a great site to hold, but that is a great response. Huge kill in the water, nearly picking up the second as well. Going to try to go for the third, but taken out 2 versus 3.
Yeah, that was difficult there. Just almost on that head glitch. Found bulk up man, but he decides that I'm going to shoot back as well. I'm just going to sit here and take it. He gets the gunfight when Lucho finds the next one on his charcoal. Shinto Gaming are taking the round leads. 2 rounds the difference in favour of Shinto Gaming, and it's a much better search and destroy than our map number 2 for the Shinto squad. And look at this, a 5-1 he's going as well. Fantastic way to end that round. Finishing Nezha off, it was like trade for trade, but it works out. The M15 is just such a good gun in that scenario. Up close and personal, even at range, you can rely on that M15.
Yeah, I mean, it just has to be said as well, like, a big thing to consider is the fact that with this game being out so early, this is such an early LAN, the map picks matter more than ever, right? And for the most part, these teams are winning their own map picks, so it really just goes to show the kind of the preference that either of these sides do have for their favorite one. They pick a map that it's their favorite, it's the one they're playing the best at, so they're making sure to lock that down and guarantee that that is on their list of the best of 5. As Shinto, I think, in their comfort zone, but Pinnacle having a good chance here over at A.
Yeah, let's see what they could do over at A there. They've got a lot of players over here, all 4 of them. I think that's one thing that Pinnacle have done, is they kept all of the 4 of their players in the same spots pretty much all the time, but sometimes that is your downfall. The first blood going the way of Shinto Gaming. He is continuing it. Mitch, 5 kills in a row, and he's just doing God's work here for that Shinto squad, but it's going to be a kill back and forward. Shinto Gaming, though, will not matter. They'll finish and kill, and it is going to be a 3-round lead going the way of Shinto Gaming. It is very much similar to how we watched game number 2 on Den and Search and Destroy, where Pinnacle were at the lead of 4-1. They went to 5-1. There was eventually a little comeback from Shinto as they got 1 back to make it 5-2, but yeah, Shinto are pretty much in the driving seat for this this semi-finals opportunity.
Yeah, not looking good now for the side of Pinnacle. Again, a terrific team who I still think have an opportunity here, but they're going to find it. They have to find it in this round. They have not been at it. Conwa has been completely shut down, which I think has been a huge plus for the side of Shinto, and well done to them for shutting down such a great player. But he finally picks up a kill to get that first blood against Shinto, stifle that push, and this is the lifeline they need now on the defense. They need to guarantee at least these defensive rounds in the bag.
Yeah, they're going to get information there over towards that B bomb site as well as the nades go off. They do connect and some stuns out of the way, but another kill with that nade from Nezha finds Lucho, but Matt will add one back here by finding Server, but in a 2 versus 3 scenario, you'd favour Pinnacle here. Oh, from the window, almost got the kill, but they just go a trade and it's going to be Lucho needing to find 2 big kills. Conwa though, he's going to answer back and finds another kill on the board. He was a much needed round for Conwa to get himself off of that donut. Finds a couple in the round and look at the difference it makes. It means the Pinnacle go on and win the round. So more from them, from Conwa, to do similar things in the next couple of rounds. There's a chance to bring this one back and make it a closer affair.
Yeah, well, not much more room for mistakes now for the side of Pinnacle. They, you know, you could argue they could still maybe sacrifice another round if needed, but no one ever likes to be just one round away from defeat. And Pinnacle from this point have to play it perfect, need to chain these rounds, but I've given themselves a great opportunity here just to get a little bit of confidence back, a little bit of wind in their sails, as they need to show they can do it on offense as well. Shinto going for a 2-1-1 split across the map. Pinnacle kind of splitting 2-2, but keeping themselves fairly congested together as it looks like they're going to angle more towards A. But very open and susceptible to the picks here unless they can get the first blood. Again, this sort of initial kill is going to be huge, and the spot not coming through in mid-map. Pinnacle look like they're going to try for this wrap now to B.
Yeah, the re-wrap around towards B. There's only one player really watching B, the other one's watching mid, but it's Bala that spots him at B. He's surely spotted more than one, and you're going to see the Shinto defense try to get their way around towards that site. Still, yet to find that first blood, which has been Pinnacle in these rounds, and it's Nezra that finds one. Matt is shut down, the streak has ended. An advantage, Pinnacle.
Terrific opportunity for Pinnacle. Oh, not coming through for Lucho.
He knows there's a player nearby as well on that site, on that bomb, and it is Nezra who got that first blood, but he's been dancing in and around that middle area. Mitch does know he's there, and he shuts him down. He spots one another, and all of a sudden it's back and forward trades. It's 2 versus 2. Make that 2 versus 1. Is this all down to Lucho? Mitch. Well, I say Lucho, but it's Mitch. It's Lucho. It's not Lucho. He's a codcaster for you, but it is definitely Lucho, and Lucho's finished off. Pinnacle 2 rounds on the board. It's exactly what they need for this comeback. A little bit of momentum behind their sails, as you mentioned earlier. That's what you need, right? It gets you a little bit more confident going into that next round. You're not going to be on that match point and game point yet. You're not going to be falling to the defeat so early as you looked like it might have been early on in these rounds.
You wonder as well, at this early stage in the season, do Shinto have any cards left up their sleeve? Have Pinnacle perhaps figured them out, right? Because you're not going to have many plays to pull out of the bag on a search and destroy at this stage, right? So if Shinto have kind of burned how they were going to play and Pinnacle have adjusted well to it, what answers can Shinto to provide to start taking some of these rounds back themselves to get them over the line? Pinnacle not ahead yet, but have been doing a lot better in these rounds, are playing kind of slower, more compact. You see how tightly they're rotating together here. They want to make sure they're at least there for every single trade. As Shinto have got a lot of control of this A side early, but are not daring to go for the plant yet until they get a pick. But Mitch, that is a huge kill.
That is massive. That is all kills going their way. And Server looking to be finished off finally there from Shinto Gaming. A full clean sweep in the search to destroy. They take it to match point, ladies and gentlemen. 5-3. Is it the curse? Are we still going to witness it? Or are Shinto going to close this one out here on Raid and take it to that winner's semi-finals? We're about to find out if they can clutch it up here and take the win.
Well, best of luck to both of these teams at this stage. An immaculate series from start until finish. Pinnacle on the edge of defeat. Shinto can taste victory. Just one round away. Mitch 10-4 on a 3 streak. Been an immaculate performance from him so far, but they're going to need him to show up at least one more time to get over the line. Pinnacle now on the offense themselves, getting a lot of A control. The push up from mid quickly from Mitch means that he could be a real thorn in the backside here if he gets around the back.
Yeah, that is not a position you want to be spotted in there, but also if you get there early, that's that first blood going your way, and it is. Mitch finds it. He's still in the back. He's dealt with though, and all of a sudden you're going to be in a 3 versus 3. The bomb is down on A, so you've got an advantage of your Pinnacle. You just need to watch your wrap around, and there's going to be player number 6 making his way around. It's Bala. Is Conwa going to spot him? The answer to that is yes, he does. An advantage for Pinnacle once again, but trades go in. Lucho finds the next kill. It's 2 versus 2. In behind the van, he's dodging, he's weaving, he's trying to stay alive, and he can't do so. It's all down to Conwa to try and clutch up for to stay alive in this winner's bracket.
And the bomb has been hopped. Codwell's going to have to go huge. Pushing directly out here. Is going to pick up one. Needs to check the bomb. Needs to get the chase. Does he get the kill?
He does.
Did he?
I think he does. The fist bump. I think that's it. We're going to another round. Pinnacle clutched up. Conway does the job. Finds the 2 on that bomb. It must have been a mere second away from that defusal. And a couple of shots with a wee bit more skew if that was the win in the bag. But it's not yet. It is not over yet. There ain't no fat ladies singing yet, Zep. The Celtic duo will stay on for another round at least.
Oh my word. That must have been a matter of not just seconds, a second, I would say. But Codwell pulling it back, I believe, was 0 and 5 when Pinnacle were looking a little bit down and out. So to pull it back to 6 and 6, Codwell pulling up the numbers when it matters most. We're going to need to continue to do so. No more room for error as they try to hold out in this defense. You called a round 11 on the cards. It is just one round away if Pinnacle are able to hold on as Shinto are angling towards B.
And if you're Pinnacle, you want to get that first blood. You want to give yourself that standing opportunity here. But look at the position that Matt's in. Can he get that bomb planted? Yes, he can. You can see it. It is starting to be planted there, but he's shut down. Guess what? Conway will shut down the bomb planter this time. Last time, it was the diffuser. He gets the planter this time. They get the first blood. They get the opening opportunity for Pinnacle to try and take this to round 11. Who is going to fall next will be the decisive one, and it is Conway from the wraparound. All of a sudden, you got player 2 server from the window will get shut down as well, and Shinto Gaming take it to a 3 versus 2.
Massive moment here. Huge kill though from Nezra. Needs to try and stay alive, but Choco there at the assist. It's a 1 versus 1. Nezra versus Mitch. Mitch 13 and 5. What a performance from him. That bomb has been left. 18 seconds left to go. It's on a nice edge here.
Well, Nezra's got the opportunity though, right? He knows the bomb planter was there. He's going to have to watch the wrap around and expect the player to head towards A, but maybe not. Mitch spots it. He dives away, and all of a sudden Nezra stays alive. Oh my God! There's no seconds left. Dodge, weave, run away, stay alive, because this is going to round 11, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, wow. What was that HP at? 0.1. I mean, bullets through the wall, just not doing enough. Lying down, getting out of that lane of fire just in the nick of time. God, that could not have been closer. And we go to that round 11.
Round 11, game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Pinnacle, Shinto Gaming. Who goes to that semi-finals in this winner's bracket? We're about to decide here as Pinnacle are the team on the attack. They head towards that A with 3 players going that way, 1 heading towards B. Where's this break-off going to go? Where's the opportunity to get that plant done? Or are they just going to try and push back for that first blood? And guess what? Conway, he showed up from that deficit that he was on. He finds that first blood once again, and a full wraparound once again from Pinnacle, heading towards that B bomb site.
Yeah, I love this from Pinnacle, getting that initial kill towards A, sort of drawing Shinto just a little bit over and then going back towards B. Lucho will have the read, but could Lucho potentially get flooded out here? He's actually doing a good job of just holding on, but he is going to need to wrap out surely here, because this is getting aggressive from Pinnacle, and you can't afford to drop any more lives. If you're Shinto, you need to get one more pick at the very least, as Nezra is going to get pushed on in. Huge gunfight coming through as Nezra just trying to stay alive. Wow, Pinnacle doing a great job of playing their lives right now.
I don't know how Nezra keeps doing this with minuscule health here. He just dodges back and forward. He's throwing shoulders left and right, and he's surviving. And guess what? They re-wrap towards A. The bomb's going down. Player number 3 is going to get that next kill. It's going to be Nezra. That is crucial for Pinnacle's opportunity to come back in this search and destroy and potentially win it. And they do! That is absolute scenes.
Oh my word. That was something special. What a goddamn series we just seen.
Wow. A game 11, a round 5, and wow, we get round 5, game 11. Sorry, my bad. Take that right back. I am so flabbergasted already. What a turnaround that was from Pinnacle as well. They were on the verge of defeat. They were 4-1 down, and they come back and they take this game to 6-5 in the search and destroy over on raids. We couldn't have asked for a better game to cast over for our first Black Ops 7 experience here, and especially here at the gaming arena for the first LAN event as well for us to cast over together as a duo. I mean, what a match up that was.
Such an entertaining series from start right up until the finish. And I mean, I called Pinnacle winning it, but I thought it would be 6-4. They left it a lot closer than I thought they would, but managing to get over the line in the end, right? And, you know, we go back to so many moments in this series where, you know, that bottom player pulling up was so crucial, right? I believe it was on the hard point in Den, or maybe it was the overload, it could be mistaken, but Lucho had a very poor game on the overall, and it sort of led Pinnacle to being on the precipice of being able to take that map. And if Lucho was able to pull that back up, that potentially would have been the difference maker. And we saw once again in the search and destroy on this raid, we had a player in Conwa 0 and 5, Pinnacle looking down and out. I believe they were down at that point like it was 4-1. As you said, Conwa starts picking up the kills within a couple of the rounds, is leading the kills on the side of his team, just starting to pick up the picks left, right and center, finding huge success playing defense over on the basketball court, and from there completely changes the complexion of the map. It's not always about your top player, it's about who's playing the worst and whether or not they can change that within the map to be the difference maker for your side. Pinnacle having the difference maker in the end up, but such a great series.
Yeah, exactly that. A fantastic comeback here from Pinnacle. It was such a matchup to watch over. An absolute pleasure to cast over with you, Zip. You know what? We're going to have a little interview by none other than Conwa once he gets into that booth to have a wee chat to him.
Hey guys, how we doing?
There he is. There we go. Conwa, how are we doing this fine day?
Well, my blood pressure is a little bit up right now, but other than that, we're doing pretty good. How are you guys doing today? You can't hear me?
Well, I believe we have no Conwa audio. Maybe it's just not being piped through.
How about now, boys?
Right,
can you guys hear me now?
There we go. Conwa, can you hear us? Yeah, we can hear you now. There we go. How are we doing this fine day then?
Oh, man, I'm doing swell. I was saying my blood pressure feels a little bit up right now. But I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling a bit good. You know, I was a nail biter, man. That was close.
I bet we mentioned it in the booth. You were 4-1 down, right? And you had the opportunity where it was like you were going a little bit negative. You weren't yet to find your first blood.
Yeah, I was 0-5.
Yeah, you were 0-5. It was not looking good. And you know what? You were the game changer that needed. Eventually, when you started heating up, there was a couple of good kills that came alive for your Pinnacle roster. What was it? What was the difference maker with you to turn it around?
Well, there's definitely a few things. I mean, the first thing, you know, we have this weird tendency, like when we're playing people that we think we're better than, it's not like a intentional thing. We just play different. I don't have, if we play like good comp that we think is like really talented, we play better. We play better against better people. For some reason, we play guys like we're like the 16 seed in North America right now. They're like the 18, so it's like we should hypothetically beat them, but like still we got to be locked for it, right? You know, that's just like one of those things where it's like, damn, like, I don't know, we come out flat a lot of the time. So I realized I was coming out a little flat. I saw that there's a few things that we were just not doing well when we were down 1-4. And I just felt like we were a little afraid. I was like, I'm going to be honest, boys, like, we're way more talented than these guys. Let's just like go run at them. So we were just being more intentional with our lives. We were being more confident in our decision making. And for me, I was just like, I have this bad tendency where like I try to do too much. Like I try to like be the star sometimes. So it's like what I started doing those last few rounds is I was like, I'm just going to do my 25, you know? And it was hilarious because in those last 3 rounds, I 1v2'd and I got the bloods the last 2 rounds right after that too. And I was like trying to do less, you know? So it's like a lot of the time less is more, which is like, you know, what our team tends to, you know, F up sometimes. So a lot of that's on me. I'm the vet, you know? So I'm the one that's got to figure that out for us. So it clicked once we were down 1-4, like, okay, let's just not try to do too much. We're going to beat these guys if we just do our thing. And after that, we just started taking care of business.
Yeah, and look, I got to say, just again, you know, congratulations and what a series it was to watch. I mean, such a super entertaining one, you know, as you say, nail biter. I'm sure as a player, you don't always like having to take it to a map number 5 and around 11, but you know, you're
like, it was rough, you know, it was a scary series.
I mean, listen, as from a viewer perspective, it is fantastic. But
Banger,
look, I'd love to pick your brains really quick. Just, you know, a player of your level playing at your level, right? What's the feel coming into a Call of Duty so early and playing a LAN at such an early stage, right? Are you still at a stage where like you're waiting for another, say, 3 weeks, a month, whatever it may be, until it really clicks with every map and you find your form? Or do you feel like you pick it up right away and feel like pretty well versed in every map? Or is there sort of that element of, because we seen what a lot of the maps, except for that last one, a lot of the maps were won by the team that picked that map. So is it a case of teams will be able to rely a lot more on their comfortabilities within a map, considering how early it is in the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's why I love going to these events. So this is my 4th year in a row going to this kickoff. And I don't feel like I have a good feel for this game yet. Like I'm like still kind of tweaking on what guns, like what attachments to run on my M15. I just switched to an AR, so it's like I don't know. There's a few things with it that are kind of weird, but that's the reason I love it though. Is like I don't feel super confident about my own gameplay yet, but something I do feel really, really, really confident about is that everyone is shitting down their leg because they also don't know what's going on. So whenever you go to an event at the beginning of the year, nobody knows what's going on. People are just, playing nervous. I mean, you even saw a few times we were just kind of playing a little tense, like we don't know what to do here. So it's like that's what everyone's doing. So as long as we come in more confident and just, play our game and don't overthink it, keep it simple, we're going to win. And, that's kind of all we did is we, just kind of won the mental battle there. I mean, to be up 3-5 last map and get 1v2'd and then lose 2 straight right after that, like that's wicked. That's a turning ender. So that's just one of those things where it's like, it's a mental battle. So we'll just keep trying to win that every single series, and as long as we do that, we're gonna be chilling.
Yeah, well, that's fair comment, to be fair. When it comes to like the new game, right? Obviously, the fact that we're all new to it, you guys are all new to it, and it's a new environment of kind of maps and such like for everybody to learn. We've got a new game mode as well, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, you guys were 2-0 up in what looked like it was going to be sealed deal. Was it just a little breakdown in the end on Den because Shinto came back somehow with 2 quick overloads, and
it was weird.
I was like, this is going to the wire.
So we felt like we were in the driver's seat that whole game, and like we did do a bad job of. I think there's a preferred lane to try and score points on for both sides, and we knew it coming into the map. This is the overload map that we've had pretty decent reps on comparatively to the other ones. I haven't even played some of the other ones, so we don't have many reps for this mode. But we came into it and we just like kind of skipped. We kind of forgot the game plan. Like we just didn't stick to it, and we were still up 2-0 despite that. So feeling pretty great about that. But then afterwards, it was just, one of the adjustments for this overload is it doesn't always spawn in the same place. It changes. So like what happened to us is we were up 2-0. They took the right lane of the map, and they killed all 4 of us, which sucked. And I think like it was like a weird cruise missile for us. He dropped it on me, and it killed me, and it didn't kill the 2 guys that were also standing next to me. So it was like one of those weird things. Like, what the hell's going on? But we kind of got screwed after that because the like overload point, whatever it is, the bomb or whatever, spawned in the same lane that they just took control over. So they already had full map control of anything that mattered to score points again. So they just picked it up and waltzed right in, and it was 2-2 all of a sudden. So then after that, it's like sudden death, And I was like, oh, what the hell just happened? We just went from, having full control. So it's kind of a fun game mode, but it's definitely an adjustment, So we got to figure it out still. We don't really know. That's one of those modes where I was talking about we have no clue what's going on. Absolutely no idea. No idea what's going on. But that's part of the fun. Not many other people do here either. So
I was about to say, I think everybody's in that same boat, which is the thing with a
we tried to reset it
by
jumping off the map, and we're like, oh, that doesn't work. It just sits there. I was like, okay, we can't do that either.
Well, look, Conway said there's plenty left to still figure out in Black Ops 7 for everyone, but what we already know, what doesn't need to be figured out, is that we're just after witnessing one hell of a series right from beginning till the very end, and with yourself pulling those numbers at the very end of that map 5, being able to pull it back, just massive congratulations to yourself and your side being able to move forward in such style, in such fashion in the end up. Best of luck with the rest of your performance throughout the tournament. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thanks, gentlemen. I could tell you guys just had a banger cast too. I could tell by these voices. You guys just sound like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, bro, the gas.
It's the best cast.
Tell them to vote. Tell them to vote now on the
series, mates. Thanks, guys.
Exclamation mark vote, chat. That is exactly what you want to do. Get that Celtic duo on that grand finals. We might even see the guys at Pinnacle over there as well. Zep, it's been an absolute pleasure here at the Black Ops 7 launch tournament for Game Arena. For our cast being the distance all the way to Game 5, round 11, we couldn't have asked for a better cast. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, we got really blessed with such an entertaining game as well, and a pleasure to speak to Conway as well. He speaks so well about the game, sort of breaking down and being kind of brutally honest about his gameplay as well, and where they can improve, and the state of what it's like at this stage in the season. Being a competitive player, that's what we love about CoD esports, right? You run into a new year, and every year you're dealing with something that is so the same and so different at the same time. And the competitive players are the first ones in there trying to break it down and finding the things that will filter down into the rest of us noobs as we try to take it on forward and learn from how they play, to have fun ourselves. And, you know, for yourself and myself as well as casters, it's always just such a pleasure to be able to check out these games, you know, break them down, learn and understand, and have the opportunities to speak to these players, to be able to provide more information, not just for us, but for all of you at home watching as well. And I hope you found that series as entertaining as it was. I hope you were able to take a lot as well from what we just heard from Conway about, you know, where the players do be at this stage in the season. It is such an interesting insight, and it's always a pleasure to be able to work the likes of the game arena, these launch tournaments, to be able to see firsthand how these players figure out the new title.
Yeah, because we're all figuring it out ourselves as casters, definitely. And speaking of figuring it out for casters, there's more casters to come up on your screen. It is going to be Corpse and Nova doing the loser knockout brackets opportunities for the next 2 matches. They're going to have a fantastic time, I'm sure, but we've got plenty of other casters to come along. And your local boy Tantrums, you've seen him in the background there throwing hands in the air thinking, oh, this is unbelievable, there's devastation going on, people are getting turnarounds, and all of a sudden hand in mouth opportunities. You're going to see plenty of that throughout the rest of this weekend. It's been an absolute pleasure to be casting alongside you, Zip, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it in this future for Black Ops 7, and hopefully maybe in that grand final.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be absolutely nice. But that is all from us from now, folks. We're going to be going into the next game. Do we actually know what the next game is, Mark? Do you have that on hand? I'm not even sure who that is, but
we haven't decided.
We're just hearing it in
yet.
the ear. Haven't decided. Yeah, hearing it in the ear, not decided just yet. But so it's just as a surprise for us as it is for you watching at home. And you've seen the level of the game that we've just seen, folks. So the rest of the games from here on forward, they are not going to disappoint. The level that all of these teams are bringing is absolutely immaculate, and I cannot wait to see what's left in store for this tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I'll be keeping a keen eye for sure. And obviously, remember, make sure to vote for your favourite caster duo. I think I put it right way. There we go. These guys.
Yeah,
we'll see you again, hopefully, on a grand final. Yeah. Either way, we could do it. We could do it either way. That works. But let's go. We'll see you guys hopefully very, very soon.